I want to talk about judgment and the judgment that comes with being a parent, because I think this is such a relevant thing that a lot of new parents go through. We've just woken up, and if I don't record this now, then it's never going to happen. Is it? So, my hair's probably a real mess right now. But it's something that's been on my mind a lot recently, because I feel like not only am I being judged, but I also judge others. And not maliciously, and I do it very internally, but I just think we're maybe wired in a way to be judgmental. And I make such an effort to not judge, because I know how it feels to be judged, and I know that when I catch myself being judgmental, I kind of say to myself, like, come on, you don't really know what they're going through. Like, why they like, everyone's new to this job. Why are you being like that? So, apart from that, I think the judgment that comes with being a parent is a lot. And I'm just going to give a few scenarios of when we've been really judged. Not just me, but my husband as well, because it goes both ways. It's not just mums, it's dads. And there have been a few recent examples. And recently we went to Spain, and we stayed there for like 5 weeks. We went with a little baby. She was 3 months when we started the trip, and she was about 4 and a bit months when we got back from the trip. And I know a lot of people were like judgy, and saying things like, oh, are you sure that's a good idea? And do you know what? I'm so glad we did it. And despite all of the judgment we had around going like, oh, it possibly is irresponsible, or like, because she's going to be in a car for a long time, but we did everything properly. Like, we made sure we stopped regularly, we listened to her, we were definitely guided by her in the car. We're so lucky. She is an easy baby, and if she was a different type of baby that couldn't be in the car for too long or wasn't particularly happy, then we probably wouldn't have done the trip. But she made this trip possible. It wasn't just us being selfish. And I know that you can't predict how the trip's going to go, but you do know your own baby, and you know at the end of the day what is best for your baby. Another example we had kind of when we were in Spain was Sam was with her by herself and with the dog, and she was screaming her head off, and this person came up to her and was basically said, oh, well, she's not happy, is she? She was screaming her head off. He was in a really difficult situation. He was already really stressed. And then another person joined them and was like, oh, she's really not happy, is she? He was like, no, she's really hungry, her mum's coming. And then a third person came and joined them and was like, this person was Spanish, so she couldn't speak English, but she was like, hungry. And he was like, I know. And he literally turned his back and just faced the other way. And they stood there talking about him and her. I wasn't there, and obviously if I was there, I would have said something. But like, what a horrible situation to be in. So this judgment doesn't just come from other new parents. It comes from people of all ages, of all walks of life. And it is something you do have to kind of get used to, being a parent. Other good examples are like, maybe how, like, your day-to-day parenting. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about how often they change their baby's nappy. Now, we kind of just are led by her. Like, if she's aggy, we know she's done a poo. Or if we've heard that she's done a poo, we'll obviously change her nappy. But we don't always know. And we also don't always know when her nappy's really full from wee. Maybe we've been driving, or maybe we've been out, maybe we're doing something, and you maybe don't change it as regularly as you'd like. But some people are like really anal about changing babies' nappies. We're just not that type of couple. Like, if she's got a wet nappy, fine. Like, I think I probably need to change her nappy now. She had it changed about an hour and a half ago, but we don't change her nappy at night. She has one nappy change before bedtime, and then we change her as soon as we wake up in the morning. So we're quite relaxed, and we are really relaxed parents. And I think there is a lot of judgment around that as well. You know, like, it goes both ways. I see parents who are really worrisome, really kind of panicky and nervous about their child. And I actually don't judge around that. I think, do you know what? you do you. It's actually none of my business. But I worry about them. I think, oh God, it could be a lot easier for you. And they possibly judge me for being so relaxed. And I know that other people will judge them for being so unrelaxed about the baby. So these are just like lots of little examples that we've experienced around judgment. You get a lot of judgment from your family. I feel like they're the worst. And even if they don't say anything, you can feel that judgment. You can see that judgment in their face, in their eyes, and you do have to learn to brush it off, don't you? So kind of my tip, if you are a new parent, is just mentally prepare for all that judgment. And you kind of have to just ignore it. And if you're ignorant to it, fantastic. I would love to be ignorant to judgment, but I'm such an empath. I would like to say emotionally intelligent, and I kind of wish I wasn't, because I'm so switched on to people's energy and thoughts and feelings, and it makes me overthink, like, am I doing this right? Should I be doing it like this, or should I be a bit more cautious, or what should I be doing? It makes you overthink, and judgment is a horrible thing in a sense of, not only can it make you feel confused, but it can put you down and make you feel less and make you feel like you're incompetent, and that is a really, really horrible feeling as a parent. And I think one of the ways to tackle this is confidence and ignoring the haters out there, because there are going to be haters out there. There is so much information of how you should do this, how you should do that. Another good example is co-sleeping. We have always been open to co-sleeping before she was even born. And the reason this is because from my conversations and experience with people who have co-slept, they just get a better night's sleep. And for me, sleep is so important. So I'm going to do what it takes for me to get a better night's sleep. Now that might sound selfish, but I wouldn't do it if I thought it was going to put Solaris at danger or in danger. And before I kind of made this decision to co-sleep, I spoke to loads of midwives and I did my research. And yes, maybe 5 years ago, the advice from the NHS was don't co-sleep, but now that's completely different. And you look at different cultures around the world, the majority of them co-sleep. And if you look at the facts, there is nothing to suggest that co-sleeping is dangerous, unless you're drinking. You've been drinking that evening, you're on medication that might affect your sleeping, you're on recreational drugs, different things like that. Now, I make sure that I don't do recreational drugs, I'm not on any medication, and if I do have a drink, it's never been too much to drink, because also I don't want to hangover the next morning when I've got to deal with a 5-month-old baby. So that is another thing that was judged before us, because I remember being in a kind of a prenatal class and saying, like, oh, I'm really interested in co-sleeping, and then she went, oh, like, put your hands up if you're also interested in co-sleeping, and I was the only person, and I could feel like people just so worried and a bit judgmental, like, oh, it's so dangerous, but it's not. And I knew that, and I kind of had to just be like, I know there's going to be haters, I know there's going to be people judging me, I know there's people going to be advising me against it, but I know that it's going to be right for me. And actually, the first 2 weeks of having her, we didn't co-sleep. She slept in a next to me cot. And the reason she did that was because she was so tiny and I wasn't used to it yet. After 2 weeks, she's been co-sleeping ever since. We're trying to introduce a cot now, but we do like the first half of the night in the cot, and then we do the second half of the night in the bed. Don't we? You like that? Yes, you do. So that is basically kind of where we're at with judgment, and we're only 5 months into this journey, and I have learned to ignore it. And if I'm confident in what I'm doing and I know what I'm doing, then I actually don't really care about the judgment. When it is blatant judgment, though, it is really vexing. You get very cross, really angry, and then you can basically let like this rage inside of you, because you think, oh, well, pot kettle black, or actually you don't know what you're talking about, or what experience do you have? But the thing is experience is irrelevant in this situation, because every person's experience is different, and every person has a different baby, or a different type of baby, or a different parenting style, and that will affect their situation. And at the end of the day, they're your child, and your mother definitely knows best. Parents know best. Like, you're both a team. You have to do what you think is right for your baby, no matter what anybody else says. And obviously, be safe and careful and like do it out of love. As long as you're doing everything out of love, then everything will be fine. And aside from that, I'd say if you're really dealing with a conflict around judgment, definitely talk to people about it, because people will make you feel better, and talk to people that you can trust, that are very caring, kind, and the non-judgmental friends that you have. Like, I have friends who I know I can go to and talk about these things, and they'll be brutally honest with me, and they'll be honest but non-judgmental. There are things I probably couldn't talk to my mum and dad about. There are things I probably couldn't talk to my siblings about. Like, I know that my sister has sometimes like gone, oh, like, don't do that, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I'm her mum, like, I do that all the time, you know. And everybody has a different opinion at the end of the day, and if you accept that in your heart, like, everybody has an opinion, you know best, you're her mum, and as long as she's happy and loved and safe, everything will be okay. So that is my piece of wisdom. Bless you, that was a bit spitty. But that was my piece of wisdom for today, Mum Chats. And I think if you're finding judgment really difficult at the moment, the best thing to do is talk about it to your husband or somebody like that, and listen. And I know I get really cross when Sam tells me about something where he's been judged, and I'm like, oh God, I wish I was there. But at the same time, it's not a good idea to fight fire with fire, and just to be open-minded and okay with the fact that everyone's different, because that's where judgment comes from, I think, from being different and having different experiences and being taught different things. She's gonna walk soon, aren't you?